Hello and welcome to Wicklow Good News with me, Jillian Godsil. Today, my guest is Ross Scanlon, who is one of a twosome who have set up this amazing new business called Sing at Work. So welcome to the show, Ross.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. So you and your colleague, your partner, Linsey Dempsey, you are both opera singers, trained opera singers.
Me and Lindsey trained together many years ago. God, I've lost count now. At DIT, the Conservatory of Music and Drama in Rathmines. And we've both been friends ever since. I lived in the UK for a number of years, but we always kept contact. And we've worked together over the years in different capacities. So we've known each other a long time. And Lindsey, when I was back from the UK a couple of years ago, got in contact and asked me if I'd be interested in a new business venture, which I thought, oh God, this is actually, it got me straight away what she was talking about. And she wanted to set up music in the workplace. So we sat down over a coffee and it just kind of snowballed from there. Lindsey has a background in singing, but she's also trained in yoga and mindfulness as well. And my background is obviously singing as well, but I also worked in the corporate world, teaching for a company over there. So I went into big companies within London itself and worked with CEOs and high up people in fairly, demanding jobs who came to me for singing lessons as a form of escapism, as a form of building their confidence. So we both came from two very different elements, and we've come up with our new business, which is Sing at Work.
It's a great title. Great title, Sing at Work.
It does what it says in the tin. We didn't want to overcomplicate it.
Spot on. So I want to, before we go into the business that you've set up, you have had, you're very modest, you've had a very successful career and continue to have a very successful career. Tell me some of your highlights of your singing life.
Oh, highlights. There's been many, many, many. I made my debut at a very young age. I was 20 and Prunchis O'Din saw something and heard something in me with Our Ladies Choral Society and gave my debut with the concert orchestra, which was terrifying and daunting, and that kind of opened a lot of doors for me for singing. So I worked, I've had lots of highlights. A couple of years ago I sang for Prince Charles when he came to Belfast.
Wow.
So I got to sing for him and meet him. I sang for several occasions for President Mary McAleese. She kind of invited me on numerous occasions to sing at Ursula. So there's been lots of dignitaries that I've sung for, but there's also been lovely home concerts here in Ireland that I've done to people in Bray who know me, which has been just as nice as singing for Prince Charles himself. There's been lots of elements. I sang the Messiah in Halle in Germany with Prunchis again. That was a huge undertaking. Again, very young. And I don't think fear was a thing back then. I was so hungry for the work and the experience that I just threw myself. I think if I was to do it now, or look back on what happened to me 10 years ago, I'd be a little bit more maybe anxious about it, or a little bit more
would you not
nervous.
Be more confident now?
I would in a way, but I think also I'd be thinking of the bigger picture of, there was a huge audience, there was a choir of 500 people, massive orchestra, an audience of over 1,000 people, and kind of you standing there on your own is quite a daunting but exhilarating thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
There's something in it.
I mean, as I say, I sing in choirs, and I'm a very good choir singer because my voice tends to meld with everybody else's. It's not too loud, not too soft, and typically, usually moderately in tune. The perfect choir member, really.
Lovely.
You have that the comfort, the support of your fellow choir members.
Yeah, and as a soloist, you have that as well. You have your colleagues around you, but if you're singing solo, you are there on your own. Like I sang and I toured with the Peace Proms, which is a great initiative with orchestra from the north and south of Ireland. They work across the border, and I toured with them a few years ago, and we did an arena tour of Ireland and the UK, and I sang in the Echo Arena in Liverpool, and there must have been 7,000 to 8,000 people there, and I was singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" on the stage, where it's Liverpool, the home of that song. And it was, I remember singing and getting through, I think it was the most amazing experience. And afterwards, it all kind of sinking in. The adrenaline is such a powerful thing to carry you through something like that. And then afterwards, kind of feeling like you've been hit by a bus, really, you kind of have to come down from it. That's a big thing in performance. There's such a build-up of adrenaline. And then you kind of have to try and not crash afterwards and keep the adrenaline level somewhat to a mediocre level, so you don't get that, oh my God, I'm zonked after performing.
Is that why, do you think, you have the classical image of a rock star they hit the drugs and everything because after the performance.
Yeah, there's such, like, I would come home, and I'm sure there's many singers, even Lindsey said this herself from her own performing, you'd come home and I could be awake, I could finish a gig at 10 o'clock and it's nearly 1 or 2, you know, that you're still there in the bed and your brain's on overdrive and you're having a cup of tea, and you do need that come down. So it doesn't surprise me. I never went that route, thank God. It doesn't surprise me that people do that, or that kind of keeping that party element going or something to keep the adrenaline moving. I normally just have a cup of tea and get into bed and do some mindfulness or something.
I was thinking of, what was that film? The remake with my brain's gone now. My brain's killing me now. It's the remake of the film with Barbara Streisand.
Not Funny Girl. The Star, I know what you mean. Star is Born.
Star is Born.
Yeah.
And sorry for our listeners, that long-winded brain dragging out there. I'm blaming COVID head for that. But in that film, I love the scenes when they were on the stage. Because you could, it was if you were there. It was like VR. I felt, and the crowds and the noise. So that upper level of performance is huge. Yeah. So going back now to Lindsey, she trained with you and she went in a different direction because she found she couldn't sing for a while.
Yeah, Lindsey found it different. Lindsey had her own things going on that actually it was kind of like a form of trauma for her from whatever experience she had, and she had a blockage with her own singing. And she went a slightly different route, even though she kept up singing, but it made her rethink her journey with her singing that was slightly different to mine. And she went back to finding her voice, really, and went back to the more holistic approach of what the issue was, what was blocking her emotionally, because it's such, if we're emotionally blocked, it's such a strong hold in us that it can stop us from expressing. It's such an emotive thing to sing as well. So Lindsey went on her own journey, and then through that found this new way of singing for her and her voice, which she could include in her own singing. But then she went into teaching because she found it such a powerful medium to work through. And she's helped so many singers that have had similar issues with her and have had vocal trauma or pain. It happens within their life in some element. And she's found the results have been quite astounding, people. And I've seen firsthand Lindsey's work and what she can achieve. And it is quite mind-blowing of how powerful the medium of music can be.
I think we should talk about that now, because I'm also a singer, I'm a choir singer. And I know, I said to you before we started recording, I drive half an hour to my choir practice on a wet winter night. And I'm going, I want to go
dedication.
And then when I get there, and after we sing for a couple of hours and we laugh and we chat and we joke, whatever, but we sing, I am buzzing coming home. I'm going, if I missed that. So tell me some of the things that music can do and singing can do for us.
Singing, so there's lots of things. It's the biggest thing is the mental challenge. It takes us kind of out of our current situation. And we can purely focus on the music. It's such like I said, an emotive process. It's good for many things: anxiety, people that maybe suffer with depression or need to get out of that headspace. It's good. I remember a lady coming to me in rehearsals many years ago, and she had a blood pressure monitor on her. And the doctor asked her what she was doing within those 2 hours of the evening she had it on. She said, I was at choir practice. And he said, funnily enough, that's when everything was at its most level. Your blood pressure was level, your heart rate had kind of leveled itself out. It has many, many factors physically, emotionally and mentally. I can vouch for it. You obviously can too, from going to your own choir. And Lindsey can as well. From our own experience of singing, I've had days where I've had, something happen at home or my personal life. And the minute I get into a practice room, the minute I get into a rehearsal room or sing, everything leaves me. Everything just goes. I don't have time to think about it. And I get lost within that.
I mean, you're a professional singer, but I think I've read this someplace that even ordinary singers like me, when you sing, I don't mean like, singing in the shower and so when you actually sing, you're looking at music, you're learning a song, or you're singing a song, or singing a line, whatever. It takes up, you're right, it takes up the whole of your brain. You don't think about the fight you had with your husband or the child who's misbehaved. You physically, when you're conscious, your brain totally just does that singing.
Yeah.
And it's unlike, I think, any other activity that you do, it takes it over. So you are out of your head, and you don't have to be a professional singer to get that experience.
No, you don't. It's such a great way of engaging everything, body, mind, and soul. And you can give everything. Everyone sings in the shower, or everyone has a song that they love, or they have a song that they hear and they get the goosebumps. It triggers something. It's such a trigger for people, or it'll bring back a memory of something from their childhood, or it's such a powerful medium for people to use, and it releases endorphins for people, you know, the happy hormone, the happy drugs. And I can't vouch for it enough, because I've always grown up singing. It's always been a natural thing for me to do, and I've always felt the benefits of it. And teaching ourselves, because we're teaching people now remotely with what's going on with the coronavirus, and they're loving it. They're loving the benefits of what they can do, and the escapism. If they get anything from it, the bare minimum that they get is escapism for half an hour, and just focus on them and what they're in that moment for that time with us.
And it's true to say as well, isn't it, that everybody can sing?
Yeah, some people have this argument that, you know, I meet a lot of people, and Lindsey has as well, and they get this, oh, I can't sing, or I was told by the nun in the choir many years ago, you have no voice. And it's actually kind of a form of trauma for them. And then they get this mental block. I know people that have beautiful singing voices, but they believe in themselves that they don't have a voice. I think we all have it there. There's this thing called primal sounds. So sounds that we made as babies. You know, babies laugh, they sing, they cry, they make all these sounds that we can incorporate into our own singing voices. So we've had it from birth. And it's something that it's an extension as well of our speaking. Singing is a form of extended speech in a way as well, if you try not to overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say the best singers are the thickest singers, that they don't question it too much. You know, I've worked very hard to get to where I am, and Lindsey has as well, in terms of our own singing and our technicalities of how we work our voices. But sometimes, some days, I just have to say to myself, Ross, just sing. Don't think about your breath, or don't think about how you're placing a sound, or just sing. Just sing for the sheer enjoyment of it. And I always bring myself back to that, of why I wanted to be a singer. You know, why I became a singer, what brought me to it. And I often remind myself, and when I work with choirs, and me and Lindsey would do group sessions with either in the corporate world or with choirs around the country, and people that come to it as a pure hobby, you know, they'd have a stressful Monday to Friday job, but like yourself, they'll come to rehearsals on a Wednesday evening for the hour, and I see people in this form, and I think, God, you know what, this is why I started as well. And I'm lucky that I went further and I have a career in it. But these are the reasons why all these people in this room are getting out of their house and doing that drive for the half an hour on a wet Wednesday evening. They're the reasons why I started. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes as well.
So tell me now, how does it I mean, we're both singers, professional, amateur, love it, love music, love all this, and we know it's good. I know the happy drugs. I certainly do know, because I come out of that choir practice and I'm like, and I'm not even buzzing. I'm just happy. I come out happy. Yeah. It's a lovely feeling that I have. I float home. So tell me, how does your actual project work, the Sing Out work, how does it work now, especially in COVID?
How we're working at the moment, well, it's the first of its kind in Ireland. There's kind of group choirs and corporate choirs around Ireland that do a wonderful job. But the mission for Sing At Work is we're the first of its kind in Ireland, and it's a new take on wellbeing in the corporate world. So at the moment, we're doing one-on-one sessions remotely, and with people who want to have sessions with us. But it's not just about singing, and this is something me and Lindsey have evolved over a process of building the company. So people can by all means come and have their singing lessons, or learn that song they always wanted to learn, or surprise the family at a Christmas party and throw out some Frank Sinatra, and can have their lessons with us, can go through a graded system if they want. But they can also come to us if they find it hard to find their true inner voice. And some people, again, have a blockage with that. I have a lot of friends that work in the corporate world, as does Lindsey. And I have a lot of them that say to me, I don't know how you get up and sing in front of all those people. I have to stand up and do a presentation for 10 of my colleagues, and I seize up, I get nervous, I get a dry mouth, I can't breathe, I feel lightheaded, I stumble upon my words. So another element is finding your voice within the corporate world. So we can also coach people on how to find their voice, their speaking voice, all the nuances and colours that they can deliver in a project. To battle nerves, things that me and Lindsey would both experience in our own singing work. You know, how to stabilize your breath, how to support your voice, how to distract yourself in a way, and how to have a really good, clear focus and present yourself, because you really are performing at a high capacity for these, and they wouldn't have experience of it. It's people that, you know, have studied a business degree, and then they're going into college and they're saying, okay, stand up in front of 20 people and
that's a very good point, isn't it?
Talk
you
to them
think
about
of them as professionals, but they haven't done that.
They haven't done it before. Now, some people may have, and some people naturally, they're more out there and they are, you know, more extrovert, and they find it quite easy to do. But there's a lot of people within the corporate world who are fantastic at their job, but it's quite crippling them when they have to stand up and deliver. And I can vouch for, I was at a party there a few weeks ago and I sang in front of 10 friends and family. I find that harder than getting up in front of 500 people in a theatre somewhere. There's something about that close proximity.
You were socially distanced.
We were socially distanced. We were actually outdoors.
I'm teasing.
The acoustic was terrible. But I found that really hard to have that be in such, and I always have, but if you put me in front of a group of 500 people, I'll naturally light up and sing. So that's the other element for Sing at Work, for people that feel like they want to just hone in on performance skills. They want to know how to stand there, how to be stable in their body, how to project their voice, and how to keep it interesting in terms of nuances and colours in their speaking voice. And then we can also do, although we're catered to one-on-one, that's where we feel the real benefits are. We can do, pop-up groups, and we can come in for a day and have fun activities with colleagues. Again, some people might find it terrifying, but I've done so many of them now, along with Lindsey, that at the end, it's like you say, people surprise themselves at, one, the sound that they've produced, and two, just how enjoyable it is and how much fun they had during their half an hour of singing.
No, it's amazing. I think it's a great idea. I wish you every success, you and Lindsey. And
thank you very much.
And if people want to find you, Ross, how do they find you?
Yeah, so people can find us directly. Our website is www.singatwork.ie, or they can just email us directly, info@singatwork.ie, and I can send those details on to you. And we're more than happy to hear from anyone.
Oh, excellent. I might join one of your groups.
do. Send me a message.
Oh, thank you so much indeed. That's Ross Scanlon, along with his partner, Linsey Dempsey, who've set up Sing at Work, going to help the nation. Get the nation back singing again.
Fingers crossed. Yeah,
brilliant.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you to Marlena Murphy producing and Gavin Dowd on sound. And until next week, be good, be safe, and keep on helping others. Thank you.